I think it's different when you're looking at addiction, and particularly in behavioural change. It is a choice. I think in those circumstances that they're different.
Yeah.
That people are suffering from things that are out of their control.
Yeah.
So it's not been a choice. So there is so much support that is available, and it's accessing that support. So it's giving that individual that education to say, listen, this is what we do. This is where we are. Your timetable here, all the courses that you can do. It's having that little bit of inspiration, and I use the word hope.
Yeah.
And we need hope in absolutely everything. And to give that person hope by running the courses here, by giving them that knowledge, that education, where they can learn about themselves, learn about how to control what's going on with them. That's the key, education.
Because, I mean, being a carer myself, I mean, I've been through services all my life, through both myself and then looking after somebody else accessing services. So I built up this sort of like mental image because it was mainly physical health, and at the time there were long waiting lists. Even when I was a boy trying to help my mum get through those services, there were massive waiting lists. So it was almost a case of you were in, then you were out.
Yeah.
And that's the picture I built up of mental health services, and that's not the case. I'm having worked in the sector for quite some time now, you can see that that's not the case. But the thing that's kept me here now at the moment is working to support those teams so that there aren't massive waiting lists, so that people have a place where they can go to access, they can find that hope, really, for their own betterment, because for me, this isn't a job. I
know it's not a job for you.
I
know. I've known you long enough. I know. Yeah.
I can't come here and be like, yeah, I'm here because I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
I mean, I am getting paid. It is my job. But for me, it's the case if somebody walks through that door, they're not happy. I need to make sure that they feel hope before they leave.
Feel hope before they leave. That they've got something, some sort of structure, some plan in place. This is what we can do for you.
Yeah.
This is what is available, at the college. This is how we can support you.
Yeah, because I think we discussed this during the botched recording.
Yeah, we won't go there, but go on.
Targets: big, small, large, medium. Start small, work your way up. Often getting your shoes on in the morning, doing up your hair, doing a set of makeup, or like putting on a pair of trousers. That's how your day starts, so you can go on to do those harder things later on down the road, because you're not going to go outside with no shoes on. You're not going to go outside if it's raining with no jacket. Some people do, like me. I like to go outside when it's raining with no jacket.
It's achievable goals, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's having that little bit of a sense of purpose that people, especially when people are struggling with mental health, is having that sense of purpose.
Mm.
And, we alluded to it, and we will, I'm sure we'll carry on doing that, is hope.
Mm.
It's having that where, I can change. I can do it. Well, how do I do it? How do I get that education? How do I get that knowledge to be able to understand what's going on with me, and how do I manage what is going on?
Yeah.
And coming here and speaking to you guys and getting that knowledge through the groups, that's the key.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of the key words that we use, as you can see on the banner just here, is hope. It's building that sort of idea that it will get better. It might take some time, but there is support available for you for that journey from start to finish. Doesn't matter if it takes 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, or 2 weeks. Everybody's journey is different. It's took me 20 odd years to come to the realization that it is okay to be who I am. And for some people that might be 50 years, it might be 30.
Yeah, but for you, mate, for being such a young lad to accept that, I mean, that's kudos to you.
Social media does wonders when you start realizing the impacts it has.
Yeah.
When you start looking at it from almost a helicopter perspective, where it's like, I feel bad at the moment. Why? Oh, I've just seen that post on Facebook. Okay, what happens if I remove that from my life? Or you don't see the post, so you don't feel that bad.
You don't feel it, yeah.
It's that sort of problem solving aspect where you find the root cause of what it is that's causing you this stress. It could be a bill, it could be a debt, it could be a post, it could be a friend. Some sad cases could be a family member, and it isn't always applicable to just go off it goes. It's out your life. but you should feel confident and have the ability to address the issue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, social media is an easy one. Delete it.
Yeah.
Once it's gone, it's gone. You might have the inkling to reinstall it. Just give it a month. Just a month. Reinstall it after a month. Set that as your target. Right, I'm going to delete Facebook for a month. How do I feel? I can promise you now, you're not going to want to reinstall it. And if you do, you don't care about it.
Yeah.
And it works wonders.
Yeah.
Those small targets, those achievable goals. And it could be, like I said, setting that, okay, over the course of a month, a week, 2 days, 3 days, 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever. Set it. And once you achieve it, your body takes over, then your adrenaline rush, your endorphins, the happy, good feelings. I've just done that. That's great. That's fantastic. You want to do it again.
You want to do it again.
That feeling is addictive. And it's a good kind of addiction.
It's a healthy addiction. It's a healthy behaviour to want to change, to want to do things that are better for you.
Yeah.
And it's only through learning, through education, learning about yourself, learning what makes you tick. You know, taking that step back from everything that's going out there, and just having a little bit of time for yourself. That little bit of me time. You know, get in the bath, light some candles, put some music on, have a little bit me time. Look after yourself. So we don't.
No, we don't.
Without everything's going on, we've got to do this, we've got to do that, I've got to pay the bill, I've got to do this. Just take a step back and look after yourself. Look after your own health, look after your own well-being.
Yeah.
And understand what you're doing to yourself.
With it being, I mean, it's Carers Week this week, and the theme of it is putting carers on the map. But one thing that I've always said when I'm interacting with carers or just people in general who are saying, I'm a bit overwhelmed at the moment, that's fine. Take 5. Take your 5 minutes. Go for a walk, put everything down. Put the phone down, the laptop, the landline, everything, a notepad, just put it all away. Go for a walk.
Clear your mind.
Take them 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you'll want to start doing that daily. Because once you're able to take that rest period, you know, your brain clicks in and it's okay, I've got energy now, and it's off, it's wanting to do it again. But if you're on it all the time, every day, all day, 24 hours a day, doing this, you're thinking it's not going to click. You know, you're gonna blow your engine out basically, and that's when it starts becoming a longer term issue. So starting off small, take those 5 minutes, go for a walk, just sit down for 5 minutes. You know, you don't need to do anything strenuous. That's not the point of it. The point of it is you're walking away from everything for 5 minutes. Everything. You're
seeing different things. You're getting out in nature. You're listening to the birds. You know, you're getting wet if you get rained on. It's just little things that you've got to do. You've got to look after yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, we think when I was in construction, it was everything was like targets. You got to hit the health and safety. You had to hit this target. You had to that target. And when you didn't, you felt like a failure.
Yeah.
And you think, well, I should have done that. I should have done this. And what I used to do was the stress of it. It would just get on top. So my coping mechanism was to drink on the back of what was going on. So the higher I got up the ladder, the more success that I had. I drank more to cope with what was going on. And then in the end, it was like, I knew where it would take me. It was life or death. And I chose life.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
Yeah.
It's recognizing who you are, and it's understanding who you are. And you know yourself through going through, issues with mental health and stuff like that. I think when you come out the other side of it, you learn to understand who you are as an individual. You understand what makes you tick. You understand what makes you like, what you like. And it also gives you an understanding of your boundaries.
Yeah.
Of who to let in your life and who not to let in your life.
Yeah.
And that's you managing who you are then as an individual.
Exactly. I mean, the easiest way I'll sum that up through a nice little metaphor that I've just thought of. I think metaphors all the time.
Go on.
But in a medieval siege, you've got battering rams.
Yeah.
Right? And let's say the castle has no defences. That ram goes right through that door. Right? That person takes over that castle at that point. They'll rebuild that door, but they've just come through it. So they know what the problem with that door was. If the wood was too lower quality, if there wasn't any sort of stilts blocking up the door, they'll rebuild that door. So when the person tries to go through it again, they ain't getting through it as well. Ain't getting through it in 20 minutes. Might take 2-3 days. Nothing is impenetrable. However, you can reinforce it. but it takes going through that door first in order to understand what the problem was.
Yeah.
You've got to go through that door.
Yeah.
You know, because if you don't, well, it's just a door. I don't know how to open it. You know, depression and anxiety, they'll kick the door down, but you could put the door back up and reinforce that door.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, you need to go through that process, that journey, before you can think, oh, bit of a crap door, really, isn't it? You know, maybe
You've got to understand. You've got to understand, and that is part of what I do with being in recovery from addiction. I understand. I know what people are thinking. I know what it's like.
Yeah.
You know, to be sat on your own and you want a way out, but you don't know how to do it. And that's the reason I created the business, to be able to give those people that hope, to give them that knowledge, give them that understanding, to be able to cope with everyday life. And it's not something that it's a quick fix.
Nope.
I'll always be in recovery.
Yeah.
Always be in recovery. And I'm happy with that because I can manage what I do then. I go to pubs, I'll sit and have a meal with my kids. I'm happy doing that.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't do it every single day of the week because it's that an old analogy, isn't it? You keep going to the barbers, eventually you get your hair cut. It's the same. It's the same thing with an unhelpful behaviour. You keep doing, eventually that's what's going to happen.
It becomes a part of your life.
It becomes a part of your life. So you've got to manage who you are as an individual, and to be able to manage yourself, you've got to control your thoughts.
Yeah.
So you alluded to it before. Go out for a walk in nature. Take yourself away from that situation. Control how you think, how you feel, how you behave. Take that half an hour for yourself to be able to just think. You know, rewire the brain, unplug it. It's like your mobile phone, in it. You charge it. That's what you're doing when you're walking out. You're charging your brain. You come back and you think, right, I can deal with that situation now. I can deal with it calmly and I can deal with it efficiently.
So going on to some more interesting bits and bobs, not that the previous bits.
No. Go on.
What's coming up for you at the moment? What sort of prior projects have you been involved in? Sort of big developments, you know, in the terms of breakthrough recovery. How is that now evolving to support more people? You know, around the larger area of, you know, Preston, Chorley, central and west sort of area of Lancashire.
So where we are at this present time, obviously we're established now as one of Lancashire's leading recovery organisations.
Congratulations.
With delivering 5 groups, all free to attend. So we're established now, but this is part of my addictive nature, my addictive tendency. I always want to do something different, and I think with doing what we do and being successful, we've just got National Lottery community funding, so that will now keep the business going for at least 2 years.
Good.
So, you know, we're established in that. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to use my experiences of addiction and, more importantly, recovery to help others. So I've embarked on some consultancy projects that I'm working on one currently with Lancaster University. The title of that is Improving Treatment Pathways for People with Co-occurring Mental Health Use Disorders and Alcohol Use Problems.
Cracking. That's going to be development-wise for folk, that's opening those doors that I alluded to that are closed.
I'm just getting these up now because there's quite a bit that I'm working on. So it's working. It's looking at it's the chicken and the egg, isn't it? You know, you're using alcohol as a coping mechanism for your mental health. So what we can do is when you go to hospital, you present yourself to hospital, right? We can deal with your alcohol, but we can't deal with your mental health until we've dealt with your alcohol. So that individual is left out with 6-7 months waiting for services, and that's not a go at services. That's just the way it is. They're facts.
Yeah, the shall we say the demand.
The demand is out there. Yes,
I mean, simply because mental health now has become quite important. People are starting to recognise that it is something that is worth discussing. That's where the demand is coming from, because people are starting to realise, okay, I need help.
I'll give you an example of that. When I was in construction, I used to set my desk up and opposite the signing in area, and I was 13 years in construction in a managerial role. Every guy who used to come up, they'd sign in every Monday morning, every Tuesday, and they'd come up and they'd sign in front. And I'd say, "Morning, you all right? Good weekend?" And 99% were all blokes.
Yep.
And everyone would look at me and they'd say, "Yeah, great weekend." There's not one person ever said to me, well, do you know what? I've had a rubbish weekend. My wife's left me. I've been drinking too much. I'm feeling like I want to self-harm or I want to attempt, to take my life. There's not one person ever said that because we're men.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about mental health.
Because it's not manly.
It's not manly enough to say, well, I've been crying last night and, I felt, oh, I can't see a way out. And it's just wrong that we feel that we can't do that. We can't talk to people. And it might take an incident. It might take something where, with me, I attempted to take my own life. And that was the change of me, where I thought, well, I need help. I don't deserve to be like that.
No.
And that's the difference.
It's that societal expectation, again, playing its hand, where, yes, we want the general idea, so shall we say, is for men to feel a little bit more open to have those harder hitting conversations, be a bit more vulnerable, shall we say. But the societal expectation contradicts it.
Of course it does.
Like as a man, the expectation for me when I go home is to provide.
Yeah.
Not to talk, to provide a service. And that gets you into the habit of going, if I'm not providing, I'm not worth anything.
Yeah.
And when you stop being able to provide because depression's caught up or anxiety's catching you out so you can't go to work, you yourself feel useless. And that societal expectation playing its hand on you. If you're not providing, what's your worth? And I couldn't hold down a job because of other responsibilities. I couldn't.
Yeah, with your mum and stuff. Yeah.
Clear me through there. I had to leave education early because of those responsibilities. So I wasn't providing. And that did catch up on me. That played a part in developing long-lasting depression, reaching ground zero almost and not being able to move past it. And again, going through the idea of suicide. And I didn't know what support was available, whether it's groups, whether it's reaching out to the helplines. And I didn't want to do it because I'm a man. So I had to pull myself out of that pit on my own.
It takes strength, that's hard.
Not everybody has.
Not everybody's got that strength.
No. But the only thing that allows you to do that is you realise that you shouldn't do it because people need you. You realise that you need to do it for you as a person.
Well, that's your self-worth, isn't it? That's you realising that you're worth better than where you are in this situation.
It's realising that I don't have any carpets in my flat and I'm missing the cooker.
Yeah.
It's going back to that.
It's going back to basics. I've been in, we mentioned before, I've been in these rehabs. I remember I was in one of the rehabs in Blackpool, and it was Christmas time, and I was in over Christmas. I was in Christmas Day. Wouldn't wish that on anybody.
No. I
was in Christmas Day, and I remember going to my bank to get some money out, and I had £3.50 to my name, and that was it. I had the clothes on my back. I didn't have any property, didn't have anything. I had £3.50. And to be able to turn around now and say, well, I own my own business. I run 5 groups a week. I'm working with this and I've just got national lottery funding. I mean, that is a success story. But that's not a success story to stroke my ego.
No. That
is a success story that says to somebody, well, do you know what? If Steve Downie can do it, I can do it.
It's an inspiration. I wouldn't necessarily say. I mean, it is a success story for you personally, but for others, it's an inspiration. It's a point of reference.
Yeah, it is.
Like I've got quite a small family. I didn't have a point of reference, so I've had to create that for myself.
Yeah,
I am that point of reference.
You're that. Yeah, so that's you, isn't it?
I am that friend for myself. So that's the important part. Not being and having a point of inspiration, a point of reference, whether that's yourself, a friend, family member. That's often enough.
You need it.
Kind of think. Now, I don't mean a hero. I would like to be like Brad Pitt. I want to be Brad Pitt. No. The idea is to aspire to become better.
Better than who you are.